Retail inflation for December has grown 1.3% versus a 0.7% in the previous month. And despite hitting a 3-month high, retail inflation remains well within the RBI's target range of 2 to 6%. However, the core inflation came in at a 28-month high of 4.5%. So that's the number coming in as far as India's macro inflation data is concerned. And let's go across to my colleague Anurag Joshi is joining us with more number crunching on the CPI numbers.
India's consumer prices accelerated 1.33% in December, and this compared with 0.7% in November. The December consumer price inflation rose 1.33% from a year earlier, but the reading is still below the Reserve Bank of India's target range for headline inflation of 2% or to 6%. Economists in a Bloomberg survey had earlier forecast an estimate of 1.56%, and the Monetary Policy Committee in December had unanimously cut the policy repo rate by 25 basis points to 5.25%. The forecasts in the Bloomberg survey had ranged between 0.8% to 2.3% rise in the CPI rate. Food prices, meanwhile, fell 2.71% from a year earlier, and this compared to 3.91% decline in November. Food and beverage prices fell 1.85% year on year, while fuel and lighting prices rose 1.9% year on year. Clothing and footwear prices rose 1.44% from a year earlier, while housing prices rose 2.86% from a year earlier.
All right, so those were the highlights of the inflation print. But we spoke with Sakshi Gupta of HDFC Bank and Indraneel Pan from Yes Bank to understand what drove the surge and its implications. Listen in.
The headline core number, is at 4.6% and at a 28-month high. However, the primary reason why you are seeing this number is because gold prices have continued to kind of climb up. And just to recall, within the core basket, you have a category called personal care and effects, which is influenced by how global gold prices, move. So therefore, that is the reason why you are seeing this increase in core inflation. If you remove gold from core CPI, then you get a number which is close to 2.6%, which is very, very comfortable.
So rightly pointed out, we are likely to see a new CPI number with a totally altered weighting diagram and composition, which necessarily means that the RBI would have to relatively wait and see what is the noise that is created around the current trajectory of inflation versus the new trajectory of inflation. The second is, I think growth is still holding out. Yes, the RBI has expressed some concerns on the growth front for the second half, but in my opinion, growth is not crashing down, which necessarily means that there is possibly no need of any incremental rate cuts to support the growth story.